Welcome back to the Restricted Handling Daily Intel Brief. This is what's been going on in Iran and the Middle East in the past 24 hours. The Strait of Hormuz is getting closer to a traffic management agreement and no closer to a full political settlement. Iran says it is finalizing a joint statement with Oman that maps lanes for commercial ships, with entry on the Iranian side and exit near Oman. Tehran also says it is not planning interim tolls. That could reduce confusion for individual vessels, but it does not restore normal passage. Only 5 commodity ships transited on Saturday and none on Sunday, compared with 31 the previous weekend. Before the war, about 1/5 of global oil and liquefied natural gas trade moved through the strait. Brent crude climbed toward $89 a barrel and West Texas Intermediate toward 83 as the market priced prolonged disruption. The political deadline is the bigger story. The 60-day period attached to the broader U.S.-Iran memorandum expired without a final deal. Iran says no new mediator has emerged, and no decision has been made to restart direct talks with Washington. Pakistani and Qatari contacts continue, while some European governments have offered their help. But Tehran says the problem is Washington's demands and approach rather than a shortage of messengers. Reports of a separate channel between Washington and the Revolutionary Guard were denied as fabricated. We do not have enough public evidence to decide whether that channel exists, whether contacts are compartmented, or whether the denial is designed to protect control inside Iran's leadership. What we can say is that the technical Oman track and the political U.S.-Iran track are moving at different speeds. That creates an unstable permissions system at sea. A ship's ability to pass can depend on political signaling, favored access, security guarantees, and changing threat assessments. The economic damage does not require a formal declaration that the strait is closed. Slow traffic, higher insurance, longer voyages, and uncertainty can produce major costs all by themselves. The Gaza negotiation also produced a rare channel without an agreed sequence. Jared Kushner met Hamas leader Khalil al-Hayya in Cairo and then met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem. Washington is trying to move a 15-point roadmap from a political announcement into a process that links Hamas disarmament, Israeli withdrawal, humanitarian access, Palestinian administration, and reconstruction. The core disagreement is over who moves first. Hamas says it accepts a phased process, but ties implementation to Israeli withdrawal and compliance with the ceasefire. Netanyahu says Israeli forces will leave only after Hamas and other armed groups are fully disarmed. Israel's election on October 27th gives its government even less room to make a concession that opponents could describe as premature. The meeting matters because direct American contact with Hamas at this level is unusual. It gives mediators a way to test proposals, clarify conditions, and keep messages from being distorted through several intermediaries. But access is not agreement. A workable plan still needs verified weapons transfer, defined withdrawal lines, an incident resolution mechanism, and a force capable of protecting aid and reconstruction personnel. Without those details, each side can claim that it has complied while blaming the other side for every delay. A phased deal is supposed to solve the leverage problem by making steps reciprocal. If one side insists on collecting the other side's main concession first, the whole mechanism jams. Iraqi Kurdistan added a separate and potentially explosive track. 2 drones targeted the private office of Regional Prime Minister Masroor Barzani and the home of the region's security and intelligence chief. Kurdish authorities say the drones came from Iranian territory and were explosive Hadid 110 models. No casualties were reported, and no organization immediately claimed responsibility. The launch point does not establish who gave the order. Iran, an Iranian service, or an aligned armed group, could have had different levels of involvement. The public evidence does not settle that question. What makes the incident strategically important is the target set. The regional prime minister and the security chief hit in the same operation. That looks more like coercive signaling or an attempted leadership strike than routine harassment. Iran has long accused Iraqi Kurdistan of sheltering Iranian Kurdish opposition groups, which Kurdish authorities deny. A second attack, a senior casualty, or evidence of state command could push the region toward retaliation through Iraqi territory. The timing is especially dangerous because American forces are continuing a planned withdrawal from northern Iraq. Kurdish leaders may demand stronger air defenses or outside guarantees. Baghdad will face pressure to investigate networks that can operate across the border. Tehran may deny responsibility while using the incident to reinforce its demands against opposition activity. The region is also starting to build around the assumption that Hormuz will remain a vulnerability even after diplomacy resumes. Iraq is considering a new crude pipeline through Syria with a proposed capacity of about 2 million barrels per day. The project could cost at least $15 billion and take 4 years or more because the old Kirkuk-Tabanias line cannot simply be repaired. That is not near-term relief. Financing, security, route control, sanctions exposure, and construction risk could all slow it further. But the proposal shows a structural change in thinking. Producers no longer see dependence on Hormuz as a temporary inconvenience. They are treating it as a strategic risk that requires bypass routes, more storage, and alternative terminals. So today's regional picture has several negotiations, but no unified de-escalation. Oman may be able to reduce maritime ambiguity. Washington has opened a rare line to Hamas. Neither track has solved the political sequence that blocks implementation. At the same time, the attack on Kurdish leadership shows how quickly an unattributed operation can widen the map. Watch for 4 things next: an actual published Oman lane arrangement, a measurable increase in ship traffic, agreed verification language for the Gaza roadmap, and evidence identifying who controlled the drones used in Kurdistan. Any one of those could change the immediate risk. Until then, technical progress is buying time, not resolving the conflict. Thanks for listening. The headlines will keep coming, so we'll keep sorting signal from noise. Find the daily written brief at restrictedhandling.substack.com, and we'll be back with more tomorrow.